So Monday, March 27th is a day that I will never forget. I walked out of that office at 10 o'clock that morning to drive around the precinct, and the initial call came out, and immediately my stomach dropped when I realized it was a school.
For the first time, we're hearing from Nashville police officers who responded to the deadly Covenant school shooting.
You could clear as day tell that there were rifle rounds being fired.
3 children and 3 adults were killed on March 27th when a shooter opened fire at the Nashville private Christian school. Minutes after first responders arrived to the school, the shooter was shot and killed by police. Those officers now being hailed as heroes.
They were so in tune to trying to get in and take this threat down that they didn't think about their own safety.
Surveillance video captures the shooter arriving at the school at about 9:53 a.m. At 10:10 a.m., video shows the shooter entering the school after firing at the glass of 2 double doors. 3 minutes later, the first 911 call came in to dispatch. By 10:24 a.m., first responders were on the scene. Minutes later, officers Rex Engelbert and Michael Colazzo opened fire, killing the shooter.
The first responders that responded, Rex Engelbert, Mike Colazzo, and Sergeant Mathis, did what we were trained to do. They formed together, they got prepared and went right in, knowing that every second, every moment wasted could cost lives.
Officer Rex Engelbert says he was outside of his normal service area on the morning of March 27th, putting him closer to the school than he usually would be.
You can call it fate or God or whatever you want, but I can't count on both my hands the irregularities that put me in that position. When a call for service came out for an act of deadly aggression at a school, I immediately turned on my lights and sirens.
Engelbert was one of the first officers to arrive on the scene. He says Covenant School staff gave him a key to the building.
And I've been given my training. I know my role, and I made entry with the personnel I had, and luckily I had some. I saw there were patrol units, and I asked for people to join me as I had a key.
More! Let's go! Metro Police!
Another first responder, Detective Sergeant Jeff Mathis, says he met Engelbert at the door.
When I got out of my vehicle, I retrieved my department-issued shotgun from the back. And while doing that, I overheard who I now know as Officer Rex Engelbert saying, "I need 3," as you guys have seen on the video.
Let's go! I need 3!
I went through that door with purpose. I knew the gravity of the situation and what had occurred based on the call text, the amount of callers, and it was a serious incident.
Engelbert and Mathis do not regularly work together, so in that moment, they relied on their active shooter response training.
So we cleared the hallway we had, room by room, until we made it into the lobby. Like he says, I don't work with anyone that was there that day, so we had to use plain speak to understand each other's roles, what we had to do.
Metro Police, open the door! Bathroom, small bathroom. Clear.
At about the same time, Officer Colazzo entered through a different part of the school.
I noticed that all the glass to that door had been shot out. Saw shell casings on the ground, bullet holes on the door, so I immediately made entry.
After clearing the gym, Colazzo says he attempted to move upstairs.
At that point, we were told that the shooter was possibly on the 2nd floor. So at that point, that's when on the body cam you see where we ended up going up the stairwell and made our way to a locked door.
They go 2nd floor! No, locked door. Where did they go in? First floor. Hold there, y'all. Somebody hold there.
Body camera video shows Collazo pivoting, going back down the stairs to find a different route upstairs.
Rifle first. Rifle first. Blue, go. Go, 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 go. Go. Move. Move. I'm with you.
Once we started hearing the first shots, that's when everything kind of kicked into overdrive for us. We had gone up the stairwell, made our way down the hallway. That's when I ran into that second victim.
Elsewhere in the school, Engelbert and Mathis had the same reaction.
When I did hear stimulus, I couldn't get to it fast enough. I just looked for the nearest staircase I could find because I could tell it was above my head.
When we went through the doors, the shots continued. I couldn't tell you how many there were, to be honest with you. We just heard the sounds. From my training and experience, I knew those sounds to be rifle rounds that were being fired based on what it was. We proceeded up the stairs.
It's upstairs. It sounds like it's upstairs.
Once on the second floor, the officers rushed toward the sound of gunfire.
Kept walking towards the sound of gunfire. There was, like Sergeant said, some smoke in the air. It was very similar to the training we receive, the stress inoculus that our training academy had exposed me to before this incident.
We didn't know if the shooter was to the left or the right. Smoke was everywhere. The fire alarm was going off. It was somewhere right around that point we heard another shot, and so it told us that the shooter was to our right. That's when I made the call and yelled that the shooter was right, and we pushed right and continued down that hallway.
Once in that hallway, the smell of gunpowder was in the air. It was also very smoky. Obvious that there had been fire in that area very quickly. Doing what our training tells us to do in those situations and following the stimulus, all of us stepped over a victim. I, to this day, don't know how I did that morally, but training is what kicked in. We then proceeded continually toward the sounds of gunfire. And then once we got near the shooter and the shooter was neutralized.
After that, officers worked to take students and staff to safety.
It had been broadcasted that the shooter had been taken down, and I think it clicked for every officer that was on scene. At that point, it was time to start trying to render aid to the victims and start evacuating the school. So we implemented our rescue task force protocol.
Metropolitan Nashville Police Department Chief John Drake praised the officers for their quick response.
We had so many personnel that was running in that didn't think about ballistic vests, that didn't think about ballistic helmets. They just wanted to save kids.
Officers say behavioral health staff are on hand to help with the transition following the shooting. Experts recommend they maintain regular routines in an effort to avoid new bad habits.
For the situation, I think everyone is doing well. There's obviously been loss of sleep. Children hugged more than normal.
Nashville officials credit the officers' quick response with annual training they say is vital to be prepared in the event of an emergency. Reporting for Law&Crime Network, I'm Sierra Gillespie.